Hi, this is Muna. A huge welcome to my weight loss video diary. I am a fat woman exposed. I'm sharing with you an absolutely brand new, never been done before way to lose weight permanently. If, like me, you're fed up of diets that don't work long-term, exercise regimes that eventually you burn out with and you tend to put the weight back on, then I'm glad to say you're in the right place at the right time, watching the right video diary. So what am I doing? I'm doing Marianne Williamson's course in weight loss, which is described as 21 spiritual lessons for surrendering your weight forever. This is really all about working both with the inner and the outer parts of losing weight. So it's really about addressing the root cause for putting on the weight in the first place. I'm now on lesson 13, which is entitled Feel Your Feelings. And basically what this lesson teaches is that feelings that are not acknowledged cannot be fully felt, and when that happens, then inevitably, if you're a compulsive eater or an overeater, you push those feelings into your body. And this is really about surrendering those feelings and working and kind of exploring how to deal with those feelings differently, so that you can let go of them and you can surrender them. So the lesson had two parts. The first one was really quite practical in terms of diarying and creating a box to put, inspirational sayings, etc. And the second part was really working with the psychology, directly with the psychology, because it's really all about what's here. If you can shift the mind, the body will follow. And that certainly is something that I'm experimenting with and getting some amazing results with. So the second part is actually prayer reflection. What I want to do with you today is share three quotes that spoke strongly to me from lesson 13, and just say a little bit about my process in relation to those. Also, I will say that I've had a bit of a throat infection and kind of like a virus. So if my energy is a little bit low or whatever, that's the reason for it. So the first quote is, "Your craving for food is an emotional temper tantrum. As a part of you that feels unheard, is demanding to be heard and will be heard. You have two choices. You can feel your emotion, or you can listen to the cruel command to do something to temporarily assuage the pain of not feeling it." Page 161. Well, quite some time back, I realised that when I had a very strong craving to go and raid the fridge and cram chocolate into my mouth, it was very much like when my daughters were little and they had a temper tantrum in the supermarket and said, "I want that, I want that." So that kind of makes sense to me. And the second quote that I want to share is, "Before you walk into the kitchen, you will name your emotion, even if you have to scream it. Before you drive to the hamburger stand, you will say, 'God, please help me.' Before you drown in the deep and toxic waters of your cravings, you will feel your feelings and surrender them to God, even if you do so but with a mustard seed of faith." And I love that, the mustard seed of faith bit. And that's page 168. Whoa, okay. I know, and I think you know also, that when I feel uncomfortable or scared or anxious, or stressed, inevitably I start heading towards the fridge, and I'm not looking for cucumber or lettuce. I'm looking for chocolate. And this lesson has actually been really powerful for me because I've been processing some very powerful feelings. I've had some huge challenges in terms of feelings during this lesson, and I did give in to them. I found myself one evening feeling like I was going to explode with all the feelings that were sort of arising inside me in relation to an issue that I'm processing. And I felt so incredibly uncomfortable. I felt like, oh, I feel awful. And what I found myself doing is getting up, going into the kitchen and making something sweet and putting lots of brown sugar on it and eating it. And after I'd eaten it, it didn't bother me so much. But then I realized as I was doing the lesson that that's what this lesson is all about. If I continue doing that, then I'll continue being fat, and I don't want that. So I really started, I decided to do something about it, and I started working with the lesson, and I started diarying, what was going on for me. And one of the things that I've found really invaluable, which is a great tip for you to take away, is that there's a book called Little Voice Mastery, and it has 21 little voice management techniques. Now this is by Blair Singer, and it's all about how to deal with what goes on in here so that you manage it and you don't find yourself giving into addictive behaviour or compulsive eating. Well, actually he's not about compulsive eating, but that's the context I used it in. And there's a technique in there, technique 6, how to shift your mood quickly, and it's absolutely fantastic because I used it and it shifted the whole thing for me. It was like a real blessing. So really I've been working with those feelings and really working with the spirit of this lesson, and I honestly believe that something has changed. I do not think that I will walk into the kitchen and eat again, because I know now all I have to do is pick up my diary, get Blair Singer's book, go to technique 6 and use the very, very powerful technique process that I found there. So that's about emotions and feelings. And the final thing that I want to share with you is a quote that spoke very powerfully to me. If you feel you must control everything by yourself, if you don't feel you can ask for God's help with the details, then no wonder you feel absolutely overwhelmed. This really applies to me. You can't exactly hold up the stars in the sky, but obviously someone does. So couldn't that someone hold and harmonize the circumstances of your life? In fact, the entire universe is held safely in divine hands. Planets revolve around the sun, stars stay in the sky, cells divide, and embryos turn into babies. Embryos don't exclaim, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I don't know how to cell divide. The embryo doesn't have to know. An order bigger than the embryo moves it forward as part of nature's blueprint, page 165. And that for me is very relevant because I do too much with my brain. I try and work things out, understand them, and work out exactly how it should happen. And actually what I'm learning to do is surrender in my life and surrender around the whole food thing as well. So really that's all I wanted to say about lesson 13. I look forward to doing lesson 14 in a week's time, and I end by saying what I want to say. Peace be upon you and peace be upon me. Thank you.